Stream. And we are live. Let's see who we got today. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 online, 3 in person. Is that enough? What are we expecting today? Yellow? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, too short. Okay, that means I need to actually name names. All right, let's see. Gina is here. Jose Luis is here. Jocelyn is here. Christian is here. And Marichelle is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have Angel. Here we have Leo. Here. And we have Litzy. Excellent. So no Andre. All right. We'll start with that then. So good afternoon, everyone. Life moves pretty fast, although we don't have to move that fast today. It's a fairly slow day. But we are going to look at making things more complicated. And that comes from this, the and the or. Let me actually go back to the text. So we've been dealing with mostly the conditional statements. All right, the way this book set it up, the one that you've been reading these past couple weekends, they say, hey, we've got these things called statements. You can connect them, more than one together, with and, or, and if then. And so far we've mostly been dealing with if then. Right? Modus ponens, modus tollens, law of syllogism, law of contrapositive, all that dealt with conditional statements, which is already itself two statements connected together with if and then. But what about and or? Hello, Andre. Thank you for joining us. Well, and or are going to make things a little bit more complex, but they're actually not too bad. It's adding one more layer to things. And we need these because you're going to encounter them a lot. People love sticking multiple things together. That's a very useful feature. Take a look at their example here of and. You could say it is raining. You can say the sun is shining. And sometimes you can say it is raining and the sun is shining. That's certainly an interesting day, right? We usually don't think of those going together. And in fact, looking at the truth table of an and conjunction here, they call things joined with and is a conjunction. I'm not going to be using that term a whole lot. It's not one I'm going to require you to know on the test. But I do want you to recognize that symbol, how they've combined them together. That is important. So that conjunction, P and Q, notice there's only one way to make that conjunction true. The whole thing, this and that, is only true when both of them are true. If either Q or P or both of them is false, then the whole thing is false. Because and is the most selective. It's saying, I am only interested in the days on which it is raining and the sun is shining. It's a very small number of days, right? Or, think of this example. If you are looking for a relationship, right, interested in finding yourself a boyfriend or girlfriend, you might have some criteria that you want, right? They must be attractive, beautiful or handsome. They should be smart. Maybe they want them to be, a good cook. They should be funny. They should share some of my interests so we can, go to events together or play games together, something, right? And you start listing all of these things. If you combine them with and, right? She has to be funny and smart and beautiful and likes games and does. You're really limiting yourself there, right? The more restrictions you put on top, combined with and, the narrower and narrower your pool of potential partners becomes. Does that make sense? Because of this fact right here. It only counts when all of them line up and are true. Contrast that with or, called the disjunction. Again, notice the symbol there is the same thing, but we flipped it upside down. And we're going to be using the inclusive or, which means it can rain or the sun can be shining, or both. Any of those count. We like all of those days, which only leaves the days that it's neither rainy nor sunny, which would be some kind of like overcast, but it's not quite raining yet. Right? And so the most narrow choice is the one that has none of them. Notice that our table has flipped. The or is always true except in the case where both sides are false. If any piece is true or both of them are true, you get the whole thing to be true. Right? So if you're willing to date someone who is funny or smart, or beautiful, or shares your interests, you suddenly have a lot more options to pick from, right? Any of those could count, or any combination thereof, right? All of that sounds good to you. So, or gives you more options. It is less selective. All right. So we're going to practice combining things with and or. And don't look ahead. I got to erase last class. Well, here we go. I wrote up some examples using facts about Batman because I thought that would be more fun. And just because I know you guys don't know everything about Batman like I do, I've given you the facts already. And then you're going to test which combinations of facts end up true or false in the end. So determine which of the following statements are true or false given these facts. And I have the first question deals with and combinations. The second question deals with or combinations. The third is a combination thereof. I've mixed and matched, and some of these later ones actually use all three statements combined with combinations of ors and ands. And then 4 is where we write full-on logical arguments, and you're going to, as we've been doing these past couple of weeks, determine if the argument is valid and tell me which kind of reasoning you are using. And these ones are all going to include ands and ors. So I'm going to walk you through an example of each one. And let me continue to clear some of this. All right. I have already given you the fact. Batman is rich. If you didn't know that before, you know it now. Batman is a hero. Lex Luthor is rich. Lex Luthor is a villain. And I had to pick Lex Luthor because I figured you guys might have actually heard of him. I know he's usually associated with Superman, but Batman does not have a well-known rich villain. And I wanted to contrast that. So there you go. Joker is not known for having lots of money. Anyways, look at that first statement. I said Batman is rich and Batman is a hero. In order to determine the truth of that statement, you have to check, hey, wait a minute, I combined with and. Both sides need to pass the test. Is this side true? Batman is rich. That's what we said right up here. So yes, this side passes the test. Is this side? Batman is a hero. That's what we said right up here. So yes, that passes. That is true. I have true and true. Therefore, the whole statement is still true. If either side failed, the whole thing fails. Now look at number 2. I've introduced a few more facts here. Catwoman is a hero. Catwoman is a villain. Catwoman is not rich. So now let's see a combination of or. We could say Catwoman is a hero or Catwoman is a villain. That sounds pretty reasonable. Like usually you think of those as being opposite. You can only be one or the other. But this is the inclusive or. We're not ruling out both here. So when you see or, you got to think, okay, check either side. As long as at least one of them rings true, I get to say the whole thing is true. So you could check just here. One side, Catwoman is a hero. That's exactly what we said up here. That is true. That side's true. Boom, the whole thing is true. You don't really need to check the other one. But we will right now, just for the sake of completion. Catwoman is a villain. We did write that as is up there. That is given as true. So in this case, both sides are true, but they don't have to be. As soon as you got one, you can say the whole thing is true. And you know what? Let's take like 2 extra seconds. We'll write out the whole word here. Just so we know. I give you the Word document so you can actually type. I don't have to try the whole like handwriting. Is this, you know the old trick where you give it like just a little bit and then just a little next there, and you're like, oh, is that like a really T? Is this supposed to be longer? That mysterious, is it a T, is it an F? No, we're typing here. Give us the whole word. Okay. Are you ready for the mixed combo? Number 3, I'm going to be mixing them up. So notice this one happens to be an and. So once again, I'm going to need both sides to be true. I didn't give you any new facts on number 3, so it's still using the old instances. Catwoman is a hero and a villain. And I wrote it a little bit differently this time. This one sounds a lot more natural to me than 2A. If you're starting to talk about Catwoman, Catwoman is a hero and Catwoman is a villain. You don't need to restate that every time, right? English-wise, this is how we would probably say it. Catwoman is a hero and a villain. So you need to find the and compare both sides, and you might have a side that is not a full written statement, right? This half and a villain is not a separate sentence. It itself is technically not a statement, but it is representing the full statement. Catwoman is a villain. We understand that we're talking about Catwoman there from the interpretation of the English language, right? So when you convert that to the logic statement, you can test, yes, this side is a true statement, this side is a true statement, and checks out, the whole thing is true. Okay, so I've shuffled that in there too, a little bit more natural language. All right, and then for section 4, we are identifying the type of reasoning used, if any. Let me clear the comments there. And these ones are not inherently going to rely on the previous facts to determine it's true. I've given you them there. So you can assume all the premises are true. Right? We're looking for, is it valid? We're not necessarily checking soundness at this point. So given all the premises is the thing that follows, right? The last one after therefore, does that follow from the previous ones? Here I have, if Batman is a hero and Catwoman is a hero. So now I've used my conjunction inside the conditional. So in order to get this result, this conclusion, if this and this, I need both of those. If I don't have both of those, I don't get the conclusion. Or I might still have the conclusion separately, but I'm not guaranteed the conclusion. I do have Batman is a hero. So because of that and, we got to check, do I have this side? I have it right here. And call that statement P, this would be statement P. Catwoman is a hero. And call that Q. That's Q. So really it's a if P and Q together. And I do have P and Q. And so if I have P and Q, then I get to state this: Gotham will be safe. Call that statement R. Do I have statement R here? Therefore, Gotham will be safe. Hey, that's exactly what we were looking for. That checks out following modus ponens. So yes, we can say that is valid by modus ponens. Okay. So that is our final answer. That is all I need from you. You do not need to mark up which statement is which there. If that helps you, go for it, but it is not required. Because I'm not asking you to rewrite the argument in symbolic form here, as you've done in the past. Just check, is it valid? If yes, by which one? Okay. Any questions so far? No? Then I leave the rest of the time to you to answer the rest of these, which shouldn't take you the whole period. You should probably finish this by then. So if you have additional time after that, go ahead and move on to the week's homework questions. That also includes some ands and ors. So if that was confusing you earlier this week, now you've seen them. I hope this explains and clears some of that up.